In to another edition of Rated E Ministries. I know that I haven't been posting in a while, and I do want to apologize for that. But this video is actually going to explain why I haven't been able to post for a while. I know I was going to promise videos back to back, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do that. But I'm glad that it happened because it has allowed me to do some amazing things, and in that is what I'm going to get into in this video. Now, before this video starts, I want to mention something that I will mention again at the end of this video, that I'm doing a giveaway. Now, I'm going to be making posts on Instagram. I'm going to be making posts on Facebook. Guys, you can catch these posts and figure out how to win these objects, but I'm actually doing a giveaway. And this giveaway, normally I only give away one item. Maybe it's something small like a bracelet or a hat or something like that. But this one I actually feel is very awesome. And the first thing that I'm going to give away, and I'm giving all this away in a bundle. And I want to say the biggest thing right now is fidget spinners. And so one of the things I want to give away is this camo fidget spinner. There you go. There you go. Camo fidget spinner. I want to give this away. Compliments of the pastor from Airline Baptist Church, Mr. Terry Young. I've had the honor and privilege to actually serve with him at Camp Bethany at Kids Camp these past 3 weeks. And he had an extra one left over. I asked him if I could have it, and he gladly gave it to me. So with his kindness of giving it to me, I want to give it away to y'all. And not only that, we also have some more awesome stuff. Now, people like to wear bracelets. You see me all the time. I will always have these little bracelets on my wrist. And so, before I get into the next item that I'm going to give away, I want to get into talking about a band called Broken Vessel. This band is an amazing, astounding group of people. Not only are they just a group of people that got together that said, hey, we want to spread the love of God through our music, but they're actually family, which is cool because the father is the lead singer and he plays lead guitar or acoustic guitar. His oldest son plays electric guitar. His oldest daughter plays keyboards and sings as well. One of his other daughters plays bass, and his other daughter plays the drums. And I think he does have two other kids that are a little bit too young to be on stage as well. But it's awesome that you have this whole family that gets together and says, hey, we want to spread God through the talents that God has blessed us with. And so my third week at Kids Camp, they got to come, and Broken Vessel came and they played all week long. It was amazing. And they did rock versions of different songs. We played a game called Gorilla Man Gun. And I don't know if you've ever played that game, but I will explain that later on in the video. But normally you play the game and you sing the lyrics a cappella. There would be no music in the background, but they wound up playing it with the beat of Another One Bites the Dust, but they would replace the words with Gorilla Man Gun. And it was so awesome. They played the songs Oceans, and normally that's a very slow paced song, and it's a very beautiful song, and they just added a rock and roll element to it that was so amazing, so astounding. I've never heard gospel being played the way that they play it. And so big shout out to Broken Vessel. I love them very much. Thank you so much for what y'all do. And man, not only do they play in Louisiana, they go all over. They've been to so many different places just to play music and spread the love of God and serve in any place that they're at. And so not only did they get to play, but the lead singer of it, the father, he got to preach as well that week. So that was awesome. So with that being said, that gets into the next item that I'm going to give away in this bundle. It is going to be a 3-piece bundle. Not only do you get the fidget spinner, but you get it says right here, it says, I'm a broken vessel. Right here, you will get an I Am a Broken Vessel bracelet, which is also this little white one right here that I'm sporting. So you will get one of these. It's very amazing, very awesome. Again, thank you very much, Broken Vessel, for giving me this for free and giving me this to give out to someone else. And not only that, I love Broken Vessel so much. They also have downloadable music, but you have to buy their music online. But they have given me a little online card so you can download one of their albums for free online. So I would like to give all these away. Not only would you get this camo fidget spinner, which is pretty awesome, downloadable music, which is always an awesome thing, especially if you're someone like me who just loves music and can't picture life without music. But you also get this I'm a Broken Vessel bracelet. So something you can wear, something you can listen to, and something that you can fidget with. So I think that this is a really good bundle. Now, here's how you get the bundle. And again, I will mention it at the end of the video. And I'll also be making posts about it all week long. But the first one who can tell me, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, whichever I get my notification from first, the first one to tell me what Proverbs 26:20 says. Proverbs chapter 26, verse 20. If you can tell me what that says, then you will be the first one that you will be the one to win these 3 amazing gifts. So with that being said, I want to get into the actual video, get into what I want to talk about. I want to talk about my personal experience for the past month and a half. It's been amazing. It's been so astounding. I know you've heard me talk about this before. You've heard me talk about Big Stuff. Big Stuff was so awesome. I was so honored that I was able to come back. And the first time that I went to Big Stuff was last summer, the summer of 2016. I wound up going to Big Stuff, and I was kind of a leader, but more of a student that got to hang out with leaders. Meaning I didn't have really too much of an authority. I really don't want to say I have authority because I don't want to be that guy. But I was more or less a student that got to hang out with the leaders last year, and it was so amazing. I loved it. And now this year, I got to take on a more of a leadership role. Now, I still had a lot of fun. I still got to play in the sand, got to play in the ocean with the rest of the students and everything, and just loving on people that love you, loving on people that love Christ, loving on people that need Christ. And it was so amazing to hang out at Big Stuff, which is in Panama Beach City, Florida. Now, for youth ministers that are looking for a place to go for their next summer, let's say maybe you've been going to the same places every summer. You go to the same place. Here's a new option for you, Big Stuff. It's so amazing. And not only for that, let's say, what if you're a youth group that you like to travel around, you like to do different things each year, and you have not been to Big Stuff yet? I would highly recommend going to Big Stuff. You can go to their website, which is bigstuff.com, and you can find their information there. Sign up there for next summer, and I would do it quick. I think Graywood has already booked theirs for next year because we love it so much. I'm pretty sure we're going back again next year. But I do want to offer that out to you, how amazing Big Stuff was. And the whole time, of course, you get there and it's hot because it's Florida and it's in the middle of summer. But you get there and you have so much fun. You get to hang out in the lounge, especially as a leader. The kids, as they were putting their stuff away in their rooms, we already put our stuff away. The kids get to hang out and they get to chill for a moment, and so do the leaders. And for the very first day, and only the first day, they had this leader... they had a leader lounge all week long, but they had this one specific place that leaders could go to on the first day, and it had old Nintendo games like Super Mario and all that, and it also had like ping pong, foosball table. They gave you complimentary like root beers and Dr. Peppers. It was awesome. I loved it. And just all week long getting to hang out with these little group of people. It was me and the actual youth minister, Austin Aiken, from Graywood Baptist Church. Me and him were in a room together with 4 other students, and it was so awesome that not only was I there as, last year I was there as technically a student who got to hang out with the leaders, but this year I got to be a leader in a room with another leader, and it was so awesome that Austin was so open to letting me take this leadership position, and I got to lead some Bible studies. He led some Bible studies. He took half the questions. I took half the questions, and we really partnered up very well on doing the Bible studies and doing the leadership part, and getting to pour into those 4 amazing boys that we hung out with that week. Not only with our group, but we also get to hang out with the rest of the Graywood Baptist Church youth that went on that. And it's cool to see that when your kids get on the bus to go to youth camp, that you see they have their certain groups. They have their certain type of people that they want to hang out with. And then at the end of the week, everybody on the bus, we had around 50 kids on that bus. And at the beginning of the week, they all hung out, like there was like 2 over here, there may be 3 over here, and they all just kind of stayed in their little bitty tight circle group. And then after just 1 week of hanging out and actually getting to know each other and getting to tell each other's testimonies and just loving on each other for a whole week and getting to celebrate the whole week, which the main theme for Big Stuff this year was, it's a party. Let's start a party, because salvation is a party. Scripture talks about salvation being the greatest thing that can ever happen to us. And so I think that it's awesome that Big Stuff wanted to point out that, hey, when somebody gets saved, let's treat it like it should be. Let's treat it like the party, like we're welcoming somebody into the party. We're welcoming somebody into heaven. And it was cool that we got to do that. So we got to celebrate with all the kids, especially being in worship. Man, the band there is always awesome at Big Stuff. They have laser lights. The music is awesome. The atmosphere is so amazing. It's so energetic there. So just getting to hang out with kids and bond through dancing or bond through doing embarrassing things. I know I actually got to get up on stage in front of thousands of kids, hundreds, if not thousands of kids. And I got to get on stage and do the Running Man. And for me, I like to be energetic. I like to be loud, but getting on a stage and in front of a bunch of people I don't know and doing something like the Running Man is not my cup of tea. So, but it was fun to get on stage and let the kids know that, hey, I'm not just the leader, that I can be a goofball and we can have fun together. And so not only did we get to bond with the kids, but the kids got to bond with each other. And I know they've built some relationships that I've got to see flourish, excuse me, however you pronounce that word, just since then. And this was around June 9th. So, I mean, this has been almost a whole month ago. And I've got to see relationships grow just from that. And like I said, at the beginning of the week, they're in their own groups. At the end of the week, all 50 of them were just huddling around each other. All 50 of them were loving on each other. It was so amazing. And now everybody wants to have each other's back. Everybody wants to help somebody else. So it's awesome how much youth camp actually helps for the student. It actually helps for the leader get connected with your kids. Even if you have a good relationship with your kids before going on youth camps like that, I've always, every single year, relationships have gotten stronger and stronger every single time right after youth camp, and it's amazing. And we're hoping to continue to keep the growth going in the relationship. I know Graywood's motto, I hold strong to it, is that Graywood is a place to call home. And if you call this place home, the people that live in a home are the family. And so we like to create this family atmosphere, because if we believe what Scripture says about salvation, that when you come to salvation, you are in the body of believers. I know, I think I've done a video on the body of believers, and I will eventually make another video about it and go more in depth about the body of believers. But when you welcome someone in, it's family. So having that that's the feeling that we get right after youth camp, is that everybody's family, everybody loves each other, and so you want to do more for each other. But not only did all that happen, it was amazing, but the little breakdowns of it, where one day we got to go to Dave and Buster's. That's always awesome. They have amazing food, and it's a big arcade, basically, so we got to play all kinds of fun video games with the kids, with the other counselors that were there. It was just one big amazing fun time. And just getting to pour into those kids the late night after everything happens, after the full day of activities, the full day of worshiping, dancing, and just sweating because it's hot outside. You get inside into AC, and then 1,000 people are crammed into one room dancing. You still get even hotter, and you still sweat a lot more. So even after all that, everybody's tired, everybody's drained, but you still get to come together with those people that are in your room. For me, I was in there with, like I said, the youth minister and 4 other boys, and after all that, us being worn down, we still get to have Bible study, and we still get to learn about one another, learn more about each other. And in that close bonding, It's when salvation happens. That's when regeneration happens. When rededication happens. I know towards the end of the week we had some kids that they rededicated their lives to Christ because they evaluated their life. They looked at the filters in their life and said, "Yeah, I have a dirty filter. I need to change that." I've been claiming this title as Christian, but if I look back on it, I really haven't been living it. And they just wanted to live more for Christ. They wanted to put the old behind them and bring out the new again. And so it was so awesome to see that. And then getting to talk with the kids, it's always emotional after that. So that's very awesome for me. It was really cool for me to get to do that. And then we had 1 week break, basically where we didn't have any camps or anything. And during that 1 week break, we wound up having a pool party for the youth the following Wednesday. And that was really fun. It's always cool that when one of the adults would give up their house, give up their solitude, to have all the kids come over to that parent's house, because we say that the youth is the future church. We're building the youth up for one day they're going to be right where the adults are sitting, and it's so amazing to see that the adults want to connect with the kids, and the adults are willing to let all of these kids, all 50 plus, however many we have, come to the house, and they have a pool party or they have a pizza party or something like that. And in this particular case, it was a pool party, and everybody just hang out, have a good time, swimming, not even talking about scripture, but just getting the fellowship and having the body of believers come together is amazing. So after that week, I got to be a counselor at Camp Bethany for Kids Camp. Now, if nobody's ever heard of Kids Camp, if nobody's ever heard of Camp Bethany, what goes on as a counselor is you have the potential to be there for 3 weeks. And I say you have the potential because not everybody gets to stay for all 3 weeks, whether it's something personal like school comes up, sports comes up, something is the way and you're not able to serve all 3 weeks, that happens, or because we don't have enough budget to keep certain people, which ultimately that's not my place to talk about, so I'm not going to go into depth about that. But as a counselor, you have the potential to stay there for 3 weeks, and they will put you in this hotel type room. It's not like the wooden cabins. The kids get to be in the wooden cabins, and the counselors actually get to be in this hotel type room. There's no TV in there, but you do get AC. You do get a lot bigger and softer beds, which is awesome for us. And you don't have to really share the shower with 40 other students, 30 other students that are in your group. It's just you and whoever you're rooming with. Normally it's about 1, maybe 2 people max that you're sharing the room with. And my very first week, I was part of the yellow team because they wound up dividing. Since there's so many kids, I think the first week we had around 150 kids, and they divide them all up into colored groups. And the first week I was on the yellow group, and so I thought that it would be a good idea. Once I asked the kids, hey, what do you want the mascot to be? Since we are yellow, what is something that is yellow that we can have as a mascot? And they said Yellow Jackets. And I thought that was awesome because my old high school that I graduated from, which is C.E. Bird, our deal is we're the Yellow Jackets, and our colors were yellow and purple. And so I took a bunch of the chants that we did from Bird and applied it to here, and all the kids loved it. It was awesome. And it's so cool to see kids, and now the grades are from, I think, like first grade all the way up to like sixth. 5th or 6th grade, and it's so awesome to see these little kids that their faces light up, and you don't know what they're going through in life. They could be going through a tough time. I know when I was their age, my life was completely different than some other people. I was homeless. I went through attempted suicide, all these other things, and so I just remember being in their shoes and being their age, and I had so much going wrong, and that if I had kids camp when I was that age, like kids camp was still a thing back then, but it was never presented to me. It was never offered to me to go to a kids camp because I never really was a part of a church. But if somebody offered me that as a kid, I can see that this is a whole week that I have that I don't have to worry about anything. And that's the amazing thing that I got to see, was these kids forgot about everything, forgot about their home lives, their terrible home lives, the people that bully them. I got to see kids that they came and they were so sad. They didn't want to be a part of anything. And they were just mad at the world. And then through bonding with these kids, getting to hang out with these kids all day long. And when I say all day, breakfast started at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the counselors, we're out there high-fiving kids, hyping them up, getting them ready for breakfast and trying to make them smile at 8 o'clock in the morning. And none of this is done until maybe 10 o'clock at night, 10 to 11 o'clock at night. So we're talking about 13, 14 hours a day with these kids. And it's so amazing to see that at the beginning of the week, they could be so shut off or so distant. And then that second day or that third day, it might even be all the way till the last day, but you'll see them open up. And you'll see them smiling. You'll see them actually trust you more. And these kids feel so open that they would come to you and they will talk to you about what's going on in their lives, or they might drop hints, and then you might hear, oh, well, my sister picks on me, or this, that, the other, and then you dive deep into that. And then the kids open up, and just getting to pour into these kids is so amazing. I got to see a bunch of kids come to Christ. I think the first week there, out of 150 kids, I want to say 10%, I want to say about 15 kids came to Christ that week. About 10 or 15 came to Christ. And it's so awesome that you're in this room, in this space with 150 kids. And then you also have like 40, 50 adults that are in there as well. And you're looking at these kids, and you see some of them, as we're doing worship, they're putting their hands up. They got their eyes closed. They're so emotional. It's amazing to see that connection that these kids have, this connection that they want with God. It's so amazing. And then when you get closer to the end of the week and you ask a kid, okay, do you want to come to Christ? I've already given you these lessons. I've shown you how much God loves you. Do you want to accept that love? And then, as my biggest deal is when that happens, and it's even every single Sunday, when it happens at church, I'm always there and I'm praying, God, please let these kids be bold, but also please let these kids be right in their mindset. Don't let them get up because their friend got up. Don't let them not be bold because everybody's looking around. Let them stand up because they want the love of Christ. They want that salvation, and let them genuinely want it. And I know that's not always the case. Normally some kids will get up because their friend got up, or they have this emotion that they feel, and so they want to say that they accepted Christ, but they don't fully understand it. And that's what I love so much about this amazing group of people that I got to work with. All the counselors I got to work with are phenomenal, top-notch people. I've never worked with a group that works at the highest level, the max capacity. I've never seen something like that. It was so awesome to hang out with these people, with these counselors, and get to do that, because you can even tell as these kids go to be saved, they'll pick a counselor, and it's so awesome that they don't have to pick a counselor. They can pick somebody from their church that's there. But you'll see some of these kids get up and they'll look around for that counselor that made an impact on their life, and they'll grab you by the hand. I remember a kid grabbed me by the hand and he said, look, I want to be saved. I want Jesus. And it's so heartfelt. And when you're in that moment and you see that this little kid is wanting to accept Christ, all you want to do is tear up, because it's such an astounding feeling of love. And to know that God just chose this kid to love on this kid for eternity. It's so amazing. And then you get to sit down and Pastor Terry Young, which is the pastor for Airline Baptist Church. He's also one of the head guys over Kids Camp, along with Jared Edmonds and a few other people. Mama Lisa, I love Mama Lisa to death. But he does such an amazing job of preparing people. He does such an amazing job of building people up to be leaders. He builds followers up to be leaders, but even in our leader positions, still be followers. It's so amazing. And so when these kids come to these counselors, or they come to me, they have questions ready. These counselors are asking, okay, well, Do you know what Christ did for you? Okay, you know that he died on the cross. Do you know why he died on the cross? Okay, after that, what happened 3 days later? He's risen, and it just keeps going and going. They have more questions that they ask to know, to make sure that these kids know what salvation is. And these kids, if they answer it correctly or not correctly, they know exactly what to do. They have a little card that they fill out. It's so amazing how organized it is and how well these counselors handle everything. It's an amazing, awesome feeling. And so not only out there for children's ministers who they're looking for a place to go next summer, Camp Bethany is the place to go. I'm telling you, I promise you, once you go to Camp Bethany, I mean, and I'm not just saying that because I've worked there. I'm not just saying that because my church goes there, but I'm saying that from the experience that I've had at Camp Bethany. You're not going to want to go anywhere else because of the people. I'm not saying it has anything to do with me, because it doesn't, but Pastor Terry Young, the people that God has put in place there, you're not going to want to take your kids anywhere else, I promise. For children's ministers, Camp Bethany is the place. Look it up. I promise you, you will not regret it. For kids who are in the youth and they're really wanting a place to serve, they're really wanting to get out there and tell children about God. And let me tell you that last year we had somebody who was 12 be a counselor at kids camp, and she's amazing. She came back this year. Now she's 13 now, and she still got to lead. And she was even up there with people like me, who I'm 20 years old. I believe that the oldest counselor there was 23. I believe, and so the range of counselors is very big. So it doesn't matter how young you are, doesn't matter, I guess, how old you are. If you're looking for somewhere to serve, guys, I would hit up Camp Bethany. I would hit up Pastor Terry Young at Airline Baptist and ask for a resume, because it is one of the greatest places I've ever served at. I love serving at Graywood Baptist. I love being able to be a counselor at Big Stuff. I love it so much, but I've never got to serve with a better group of people than I have at Camp Bethany. That the camp will always have a place in my heart. All those counselors will always have a place in my heart. All the leaders that were there will always have a special place in my heart, because it's such an amazing atmosphere there. And so that first week, we got to play games, and the very first night we wound up playing something that is called Scavenger Hunt. And what happens is, one of the color group leaders, which is one of the counselors, we'd walk up and we'd grab a sheet of paper, and the sheet of paper had tasks for you to do, and it was all math. It was like one could be how many windows are on cabin 12, and you'd run over to cabin 12, count them, write it down, and you're running all across campus answering all these questions. And towards the end, you have to do math to find out answers, and then once you have about 4 specific numbers, then you have to figure out what numbers, or what order do these numbers go into, because these numbers will unlock a lock that is on a box. If you unlock this box, you win the game. Now, what is inside this box is like juice boxes, cookies, donuts, like all these different snacks and stuff for the kids. And it was so amazing. My kids had such fun. And it's nothing to do with me, because I didn't even lead the group that night. I was part of the group, but we had an amazing counselor. I love her to death. Her name is Michaela, and she got to lead the group. She did an amazing job at it, and our kids wound up winning the very first night. It was awesome. It was a great pump up for the kids. They loved it so much, and they just want more. And so the very next day, they're getting out of their beds at 7:30 in the morning just to be at breakfast by 8, and I'm seeing smiling faces. It's awesome how energetic they were, and they were just ready to get the day going. And with that, like I said, spending all day doing different rotations. Like one rotation was pool time. You got to be in the pool for about 45 minutes that first week, and then you had 9 square in the air. You had all these games, Gaga ball. You had archery, airsoft, Nerf guns, like all these different games that you got to do all throughout the day. You had Bible study with the kids, and that was so amazing. And I remember one specific time that it seemed like it was tragic. but it turned out to be something so beautiful. One of my kids got called up on stage to eat something because we were doing something. I think it was called "Would You Eat That?" And it was a bunch of like spam and pudding and all this stuff mixed together, and you would have the kid eat it, and the first one to finish wins, and they win points for their team. And at the end of the week, whoever had the most points, whoever had the most spirit, would win something called the Mega Moose, which is our spirit award that we have. And one of the kids, he got on stage and he looked back at me and he started crying. He says, "I can't do this." I said, "Yeah, you can do this. You got this. You just eat it real fast and you'll get the win for our team." And he looks at me and he says, "All you care about is winning." And that broke my heart. And I was like, no, okay, let's get off stage. And so we get off stage, and he didn't even want to sit with his church. So he wound up sitting off to the side, and so I escort him to the side, and I sit down and I talk with him. And I got to find out that he has a terrible home life. I got to find out that a lot of people just don't deal with him because he is different from other people, that he doesn't go out and do all these things, that he kind of stays secluded to YouTube, or he stays secluded to gaming. And I got to ask him a lot of things. I got to find out that his favorite thing is dinosaurs. He loves dinosaurs. He had this Jurassic Park book, and he read it every single day. He finished the book in one day, would reread it the very next day. Loved dinosaurs so much. He loves Five Nights at Freddy, different games and stuff like that. And so out of something that felt so tragic, when the kid looked back and said, "All you care about is winning, but you don't care about me," out of that, it hurt. But you go and now you have that opportunity. That he's away from everybody else. He's away from counselors. He's away from his church. He doesn't want to be there, but he still allows you to be there and sit and talk with him. And by the end of the night, he's laughing and joking, and he told me, "You know what? You were my favorite person." I was like, wow. So out of something so tragic came something so beautiful. I got to build a relationship with this kid. And all throughout the week, he would hang out with me in every event that we did. It wasn't just him, "Okay, I want to go play." It's, "No, Dustin, I want you to be with me. I want you to play this game with me. Or I want you to be here to watch this." And so just getting to pour into this kid's life, getting to invest into this kid's life was so amazing. And it all started with something that seemed tragic. And by the end of the week, just to kind of fast forward a little bit, I know we're almost towards the end of time, but end of our time on this show. But by the end of the week, we wind up having enough points, and on the very last day, Thursday, the last full day, we have to go on stage and we have to perform a dance or perform chants or to perform something that shows that we have a lot of spirit. And so we get on stage, and again, shout outs to Michaela again, who she wound up coming up with our whole choreography. She came up with the whole thing, the whole dance and cheers that we did. It was amazing. I told every group that I was in, I understand I'm just the hype man. Okay, I'm the guy that I'm yelling and I'm crazy and I'm loud. That is my job. And she did such an amazing job with choreography and just getting everything together that we wind up pulling. We were in third place by the end of the week, but because of that, we wound up jumping into first place, and we actually won the Spirit Award. They were so excited. They were so happy. And, of course, I'm happy because my team won the very first week of Kids Camp, so that's always awesome. But the greatest reward is just seeing the smiles on their faces. And what's also rewarding, but it's also hard at the end as well, is when the kids come up to you after taking pictures, after being so happy and laughing and just having a great time and having that feeling of victory. One of the most rewarding but hardest things to do is when the kids come up to you and they start crying. And you ask them, "Why are you crying?" And they said, "Because I don't want to leave camp. I don't want to leave you. You made such an impact on my life." And these are some of the things that I personally got to experience, is that these kids told me that you had such an impact on my life. You made me forget all the struggles I was going through. you, you helped me have a good time. I haven't smiled in a long time. And these kids are crying because they don't want to leave. They want to come back. And it's so awesome. And you have kids saying, man, you make me want to go into ministry, or I want to be a counselor, or eventually I'm going to be old enough, I only have a few more years and I could be a counselor here. And of course, I love pushing that envelope and saying, yes, you can. You can just stay reading reading the scripture, stay praying, stay close to your children's minister, your youth minister, stay in that. And I promise you that God will grow you. And eventually, one day, you could potentially be where I'm at. You could be a counselor, and who knows? If it's soon enough, you can serve with me as a counselor, and that's an awesome feeling that the kids want that. And then the second week, I know I'm kind of running out of time. Only got about 10 more minutes here, but my second week, I was part of a group. We were white. That was our color, and this week was the busiest and craziest week ever. Now, normally the second week is the busiest week, but we've never had one this big. It was almost 400 kids, I believe. It was about 350, something around there. It was a bunch of kids. You go from 150 all the way to around 350 the second week, and it starts to spread thin. That's a lot of kids and not that many counselors. We had to call a bunch of people up last minute and say, hey, would you like to serve? Would you like to come and help us out? Because it was a lot. But in it being a lot, it was such fast pace. We had to add more rotations. And so instead of having 45 minutes in the pool, you only had 30 minutes in the pool. But to just add another rotation, you got two times in the pool, 30 minutes equaling, of course, an hour. But sometimes it didn't line up. You'd get 30 minutes at one point, 30 minutes the next, or sometimes it lines up perfectly and you just get a full hour in the pool. And so that was some of the challenges that we went through. But I had such an amazing group. I can't say which group is my favorite. I can't pick because all of them were amazing. All of them were astounding. I loved every kid that I got to meet from the first week to the second week to the third week. I loved them all. They were so amazing. But this second group was so awesome, so amazing. I wouldn't have traded them for any other color. If I could walk around and pick what color I wanted to be in, I would still pick my same color. I would have picked that group because of how amazing those kids were. And I wound up asking them, okay, what do you want the mascot to be? And they said, White Tigers. All right, so we were the White Tigers. And just like the first week, these kids, they wanted to do the chants. Like, I didn't have to pump these kids up myself. I didn't have to even start chants. They would come up to me, hey, can we do a chant? Yeah, let's do a chant. Hey, can I lead in a chant? You go ahead and lead in the chant. It was awesome to see the excitement on their face. It was awesome to see that they wanted to take leadership and do the chants. And I would give them full range to do that. And it was awesome to see their face light up. And one thing I think I failed to mention was the first week as well as the second week, actually all 3 weeks, they would stand in front of the chapel. And all the counselors would go into the chapel, but all the kids would stand outside because we were getting stuff ready for the kids to come in. But as I'm walking to the chapel and my kids are grouped up in front of the door without any church leaders, without any color group leaders, without anybody there, just the kids, I'm hearing them chant. And the first week, their favorite one, since we were yellow, it was Y-E-L-L, everybody yell, oh! And they would repeat that multiple times. And I'd be walking up to the chapel and I would hear that chant. And out of all those groups from the first week, out of 150 kids, all you heard was yellow group. It was amazing. And then the second week, out of 300 kids, all you would hear was the white group. And it was so awesome. I can't remember the chant exactly right now for the white group, but you would walk and that's all I would hear is them chanting and nobody else is around, just the kids. So it was amazing to see their energy, to see how hyped they were. Unfortunately, my group did not win the Spirit Award that week, but I couldn't have asked for a better group. The cool thing is that my birthday was that following Saturday, and I didn't really mention it to the kids at all because I wasn't going to see the kids any other time besides that week, or at least I thought so. And that very last day, one of the church counselors, it's Friday is the last day. We have breakfast at 8 o'clock, and then after that, everybody's packing their stuff up, and the kids are leaving, the churches are leaving, and they should be cleared out around 10 o'clock or so, maybe a tad later. And early that morning, I'm serving juice. I'm trying to give juice out to all the kids and all the church leaders. And then one of the church leaders from my group, he walks up, he touches my shoulder, and he says, "Hey, need you outside real quick." And I thought, okay, maybe he needs me to lift some bags. Maybe he needs to help me. I need to help them put their stuff in the van. And I said, okay. And I walk outside, and all of my kids wound up making me a birthday card that was so huge. It was a foldable card that, like, you fold it out one way, and then you fold it out another, and on the front, all in the middle, even in the back, everything. The kids, all of them signed it, and all of them wrote like paragraphs. It wasn't just sign their name, nice to meet you. It was like paragraphs of these kids just saying, "Happy birthday, we love you so much, thank you so much for pouring into my life, thank you so much for sharing your testimony. If I feel like God has given me strength through hearing your testimony." And it was so amazing, so emotional for me that I walk outside and see this, and they're holding that card, and one of them is holding a box, and they, like, I don't know if it was just a collection of the snacks that they had, or if they went and bought snacks and put it in this box for me, but they got me a box full of like cookies and Hershey bars and all the other stuff. And I walk outside, and they're singing me happy birthday. And now you have to picture this, because it's really hot. Two, it's at the end of the second week, and I've been screaming all week long, both weeks. So my voice is really hoarse. It's really hot, so I'm sweating. And then they get me with this, and I start crying. And from what my family pastor says, because he's one of the other guys that is one of the head guys at Camp Bethany, his name is Jared Edmonds. He told me, "Man, you sounded like a Mac 10 truck trying to start up as you were crying. All I heard was as I was crying." And so it was a lot funnier when he told it. But I'm crying and emotional, and they hug me, and all of them are so sad that they're leaving. But all of them had high hopes of, "Look, we're coming back next year. We're seeing you again, and we want you to be our counselor. We're going to special recommend you." And I was like, "Man, that's so amazing. That's awesome." And I got to keep the White Tiger flag that we made. Each week, each group got to make a flag. And so I actually got to keep the flag from my second week, which is so awesome and meant so much to me. And what was cool is that my birthday was that Saturday. I wound up getting sick, so I had to cancel all my plans. But that following Sunday, I get to church, and my phone vibrates, and I look at my phone, and one of the counselors who actually works at the church that these kids go to, it's First West Baptist Church, sent me a video through Instagram, and I click on the video, and all of the girls that were in my group sent me a happy birthday video. And it was so amazing that it went so beyond camp, that it went to after that they still wanted to contact me, still wanted to tell me happy birthday. And so that was so amazing. I love that group so much. Shout out to First West, to their children, to the children's minister, to the people that help out, to Mama Lisa. I love you so much, Mama Lisa, if you ever get to see this. And that was amazing. And then my third week, I was in the Orange group. And so we called ourselves the OGs for Orange group. And that was pretty fun to be in. I was with someone named Miss Carrington. And I love Carrington so much. Her personality is so awesome. You'll rarely ever catch her not smiling. You honestly will rarely catch her not dancing. And her favorite thing to do is dab. If you ever know who I'm talking about, and you ever actually get to see who I'm talking about, ask her about her dabbing testimony. It's awesome. But she is very creative. She's an artist. She can draw. She came up with all of our chants. I'm the hype man. I'm supposed to come up with the chants, but she came up to me and she's like, "Look, I got a whole list of stuff." And I'm like, "That's awesome. That's cool." So I couldn't ask again for a better group of counselors to work with. And the third week is the second week was so emotional because the kids, and especially it being my birthday and the kids doing what they did for my birthday. The first week is emotional because that's your first group of kids that you get to hang out with. But the third group in particularly is one of the most emotional because you know that this is the end of it, that this is the last week, and I'm going to have to wait a whole nother year before I can do this again. So that's very emotional. So you want to soak up as much as you can. You want to pour into these kids as much as you can. And and so I did just that and poured into these kids. It was awesome that I got to share my testimony out at the pool as the kids were playing around in the pool. And as I'm sharing my testimony, it was so amazing that the kids, they stopped playing just to kind of flock in and just listen to me talk. And it was so amazing. And man, each week, I think the first week we had about 10 to 15 salvations. Second week, I think we had roughly around the same. And in the third week, I think that we had about the same as well. So I got to see about maybe 50 kids, maybe more, be saved. And not only be saved, we had a few that wanted to rededicate their lives to Christ. And that is so emotional. It's so awesome to see that the kids want Jesus, that they want God, they want this love. And so you're having fun, you're playing these games, but you're also getting involved in their lives. You're also spreading the love of Christ just by you going and playing gaga ball with them. Just by you getting in the pool with them and playing with them in the pool, you are showing them the love of Christ. You are showing them that God wants to pour into their lives, and he does it through the form of the counselors that are there. He does it through the form of the church leaders that are there. For the band that is there. Guys, y'all, even the band plays such a huge part in it. And so with that, I just kind of wanted to end off with that. That was what I'm going through. And this week, I'm actually doing VBS at Graywood Baptist Church, and our theme this week is in space. So everything is space themed. It's awesome. And I will actually talk more about that next week because I know it's we're kind of going over time right now. But I will talk more about that next week. Next week, I'm going to be talking about endurance, spiritual endurance. What is it to go through something like this that is constant, where you have a youth camp, have 1 week off, then you have 3 weeks of youth camp, and then with no break go straight into VBS? Because that does take a lot out of you. And I want to talk about endurance. I want to talk about filling your cup up spiritually to being able to pour into somebody else. And again, one last time before the end of this video, if you want a chance to win a camo fidget spinner, a I'm a Broken Vessel bracelet, and Broken Vessel's downloadable music, you can find me on you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Facebook, and it's the very first one. I'm going to make a post right after this video. I'm going to make a post, and the very first person, I'm going to be making posts all throughout the week, so in case you don't get to post the very first time, then there'll be multiple stuff that you can post on my Facebook or on my Instagram. Private message me, you can just do something. Private message me, get in contact with me somehow, leave a comment on the video. And I'll be checking YouTube as well if you leave a comment at the end of this video. The first person that can tell me what Proverbs 26:20 says, you will win this little bundle of gifts. So with that being said, guys, I love you very much. Thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you so much for watching, even though we've had this big break. And I can't wait to see you again soon. See you next week, people. Love you.